Hey, how you doing? Chad McMillan here, McMillan Strategies. Today I'd like to share with you my top 5 tips that I use for successful negotiation. I've been through a ton of negotiations on all different levels and aspects of my life and in business, and these top 5 techniques that I use are the ultimate for me in realizing successful understanding and in obtaining great agreements and results. Number 1, calm your emotion. There is no emotion at the table when you're negotiating. It will be present, and depending on what you're negotiating about, it could be really present. Maybe this is negotiating a divorce, or maybe this is negotiating a new joint venture partnership with a new business partner. This could be so many things. It could be negotiating buying a home. There's so much stuff. But if you're in a state of hyperactivity, or if you're in a state of anger or frustration, your emotion is going to be thrown off, and you need to just stay level, like totally level, and look at the facts as the facts are on the table. How do you check your emotion? Well, quick tips. Meditation before entering into negotiation is a great tip, because even 5, 10, 15 minutes of just pausing to breathe will certainly help you walking into a room or approaching your letter, or however you are negotiating, with a clear head and a patient state of being. Very important. Number 2, which will also help, it's an addition to almost to point 1. It'll help with point 1. Is sit in the shoes of the other party. So you're angry, something's not right, or some sort of emotional something is playing with you. If it relates to what the other party is doing in your negotiation, I need you to sit in their shoes. I sit in their shoes, and I say, what is the other party trying to achieve from this discussion, this negotiation, this back and forth? What are they trying to obtain or win or earn? And you zone in on that. What are the things that causes the other party pain or warmth or happiness as it relates to that, and as it relates to you? And as you do that, it changes your perspective. It helps frame you into a very objective state of being about just the negotiation in its entirety, about what the middle is. In many dealings, how to do the deal is a science, but how you get the deal done is the art. So part of the art is stepping into the other party's shoes, understanding what they're trying to achieve and what is upsetting them or making them aggressive or whatever it is. Understanding that, checking your emotion, and designing something for that kind of balance, which moves me into 3. Structure win-win transactions or win-win understandings. Once you're calm, okay, so right, you're calm in your negotiation. You've considered and you've reflected on what are the triggers for the other party and how they feel entering into this arrangement and what they're seeking. And now you're designing an agreement or an understanding between the parties that works for both sides in consideration of both what they want and what you want. That's essentially negotiating. And the key to doing this in a way that works for everybody is not to try and take advantage of them or bully them or do anything of the nature. It's to structure an understanding that allows the other party to achieve what they're seeking, as well as yourself. So by design, that is a balanced negotiation. That is a balanced agreement. So structure for that. If you're the one writing this up, and as you write this up, look at both sides like you were sitting at both sides, and no matter what chair you're in, no matter what seat you're in on either side of the table in this negotiation, if you were in the other seat, would you be in agreement with what you've created? So let's just look at this. Let's look at it this way. If you are, let's just say it's an employment agreement. If you're looking at an employment agreement, if you were the employer, would you accept the terms you're proposing for your employment if you were running the company that you're seeking employment in? And on the flip side, if you are the employee and you're sitting there from the employer's situation, if you're the employee applying for that job yourself, would you accept the terms that you have proposed? You know, the golden rule: treat others as you'd like to be treated. So no matter what seat of the table you're sitting at or you're reaching in from, it doesn't matter. Be both sides in your agreement. Be both sides in your negotiation or understanding, and you will certainly, if you do that honestly, you do that truthfully, you will certainly design a balanced agreement and understanding that will work for both parties. And that sort of harmony, I would suggest, in my experience, is critical for everything I do. It's very important. That type of harmony allows both parties to advance in the pursuit of whatever that agreement relates to. Advance in harmony. Advance with good spirit, with enthusiasm, with the feel-good vibe in your heart, in your being, in your soul. Hey, that's good. Let's shake on it. Let's go forward. So that's what you're trying to achieve. Tip 4, take your time, slow down. There's no rush in negotiation. The things that affect the influence of time in negotiation is often, let's just say that, time and money. So a lot of people enter into negotiation in distress or duress of some sort. They need the money. They've got to do a deal. Fair enough, right? Just my advice is be wary of the type of deal you do so that it doesn't entrap you into a bad deal when your circumstances improve, because they invariably will. They're going to improve. So even if today you don't have a lot of money in your pocket and you're trying to do a big deal and somebody's squeezing on you, just make sure you're not agreeing to terms that permanently enslave you to this party in some ridiculous way that says, you work for me forever, or we own your life and all your ideas and everything you do for the rest of time. Like, just forget that. It's garbage. You never have to sell yourself out, no matter how deep or bad it gets. There's always a way. You always have more than you think. Just be within yourself. I didn't compare this point, but I'll say it. Remember what I just said. Even when you think you have little in negotiation, you have everything. And time will reveal it to you if you use it in your favor. If you're going into negotiation and you're saying, I've got 30 minutes, let's get this done, you're doing this all wrong. If you're going into negotiation and say it's a 2 o'clock in the afternoon meeting and you're negotiating, you don't book anything after. Okay, that's just the way it is. You want to go in hard and go say, we're gonna rock this out in 15-20 minutes, and we're both gonna be feeling good about it. And these are my terms, and take it or leave it. I mean, it's just not gonna fly, right? That just doesn't work. I don't do business with anyone who does it that way. I haven't for ages. I see that coming. I just walk away. Just forget it. It's bullying tactics. It's excessively aggressive, and those are the types of people I like to do business with. Like, sorry, in my opinion, it just doesn't fly with my vibe and the people I do business with, who are good people of integrity and look to do quality business that works for everybody. So if you slow down, okay, you take your time in that negotiation, all of a sudden you're like, okay, cool, I got all afternoon to work through this. Let's just get it right. Then you can go point by point to address the items in your negotiation, whether you're sending off a letter or whether you're sitting down one-on-one. to work through them until they win or they make sense for both parties. And maybe it doesn't happen in one day. It doesn't always. Certainly takes longer depending on the size of the transaction. If you're negotiating multi-million-dollar deals, it's tricky. I've pulled them off pretty quick, but it's because I'm zoned in, focused. When I'm in that zone, this is the one thing I'm doing. I'm like a dog. I'm like, I'm biting into it and I'm not letting go until we're there. So I'm keeping everybody focused. That doesn't mean I'm bullying the negotiation. It just means I'm zoned in, saying, okay, these points are good, great, next, what do we need to do to get this done? But keep always driving to that result, because there's a number of things that could come up depending on how complex the negotiation is. So you're slowing down though, as it relates to your expectation of how fast the negotiation is going to get done, but you're still keeping that impetus and obviously driving towards a result, which was an understanding between both parties. Now that said, if you're feeling you're going in with a weak hand, let's use the poker analogy. You each have a deck of cards, or each have a hand of cards. Maybe one hand is stronger. Maybe the party you're dealing with has a ton of money, and you don't have very much money in your pocket, and you're in your head a bit. You feel nervous. You feel they might bully you. They might take advantage of you on terms. You really need this deal to work. And they think, hey, we're just going to come in and in 20 minutes we're going to just roll this person. We're just going to totally, we just roll figuratively, but we're going to bully this person into a deal. Always take a breath. You never have to be at a table where you're actually needing to agree at that moment. If you're uncomfortable at the table, you can always ask for more time. You can always take a night to think about it. Always just take that for yourself until you feel strong enough or positioned enough in your own strength to feel like an equal at that table. It's positioning, it's repositioning, and it's extremely important in any negotiation. I would suggest to you, in all the ones I've been in, which are many, it certainly has been for me. What can I say? I had a couple other things popping into mind that are pretty important. I guess those would be bonuses if I can touch back on them. But let's say this: be prepared for your negotiation. Do your homework. Know who you're negotiating with. Know what they like and don't like. If you can, have a look at what their past agreements look like, the parts you liked or didn't like about them. Really have your homework done. Go in with your notes. Have notes prepared. Do some due diligence. Do some homework on the group you're negotiating with. Understand certainly in your preparation what your objective is to achieve out of this negotiation, so you can steer it towards that objective. The other party will have an objective as well. Understand what theirs are, and then find the happy medium between the two. That's negotiating. That's compromising to reach an understanding between both of you. So very important. That's 5. I can think of one of my bonuses. Maybe the other one will appear in my mind's eye here in a minute. But let's hit this one. How to work through the points. So let's say you have 10 points on the sheet that you guys are negotiating on. Maybe it's a joint venture agreement, a memorandum of understanding of how you two parties are going to work together. And there's 10 points. And you go through, and point 1 looks good, everybody's agreed to. Point 2 looks good, everybody's agreed to. Oh, point 3 is a problem. Well, what are we going to do about that? Well, we're going to put that to the side as possible, and we're going to move on to point 4. Okay? Oh, point 4 we like, that's cool. Point 5 is good. Hey, point 6 is cool. Oh, point 7. Point 7 is a bit of a sticky point. Okay, let's point 7 to 5, or point 7 to the side. Okay, point 8's good, 9's good, hey, 10's good, cool. But now we have these 2 points we need to work on. But what we've built in that process is we've built up understanding on 8 points. So you're 80% of the way there towards your agreement, towards your understanding between the parties. Now you just have to work on these 2 things. And because you're that far along in your negotiation, doesn't mean it's guaranteed to go through. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed to get there, depending on how heavy these other 2 points are, how critical they are. But building up that common goodwill in both parties agreeing to so many items will improve the likelihood of finding compromise on these last 2 items that are still outstanding to get them done. So just because it's the 3rd item in your agreement doesn't mean it's a problem. Doesn't mean you stop there and freeze on it. First, you just pull it to the side, so to speak. Say, okay, we'll come back to this. What about this? That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, what about this one? That's not good. Okay, let's pull it to the side. What about this? This is good. This is good. This is good. Okay, sweet. Now we've got 80% of this lined up. We've got these 2 other items we've got to, resolve. Let's get into those. Pull out the first one. Okay, what's the issue, right? The issue is this. Okay, what's your issue with it? Well, the issue is this. Okay, well, what would we be willing to do to reach an understanding on this point? Well, I could go this far. Well, I could go this far. Are we going to get there? Maybe. Do we need to think about it some more? Maybe. You can feel that out in your negotiation. The point is obviously trying to get to that point where you're both happy, you both win, and you both, compromised, for sure for some, in a balanced way to achieve consensus and acceptance on that item. And then you do that with the next item as well, and boom, you've got yourself an understanding, assuming it's all papered, comfortably and properly, and everybody feels good about it. Another point, and this is another bonus that is coming up that I feel I'll share, is your intuition. Use your intuition in the negotiation. Feel in your gut. That doesn't feel right. Oh man, that feels good. Yeah, I think that's good. Not in an impulsive way. Not like a walking through the grocery store and buying a chocolate bar off the shelf type of way. Like, yeah, chocolate, let's go, right? Like, whatever. This is like, yeah, I got a good vibe about this. I like these people. I feel I can trust them. We're working on this together. We're both making compromises. The spirit of this discussion is good, right? This is the type of vibe I want to get into. If you enter into a negotiation and your intuition, your gut is saying, God, this room smells funny. These people are a little bit sketchy. This is a little bit off. I think somebody might be trying to pull a fast one on me. I don't understand all the terms in this agreement. What happens if this happens? I don't know about this, Listen to that. You don't have to agree to anything, right? You're fully empowered in your own being to hold your own space. When you were born, you were given that right. And in my world, you're entitled to that right to stand there and seek balance and respect in any agreement or negotiation you enter into. So just breathe, just relax. Just relax. And if that's the way you feel, I highly suggest taking some time away from it to reflect on that before you sign or agree to anything. Very important. Certainly, whatever you agree to in negotiation, make sure you understand it all before you do. Very, very important. I had one more insight emerging as it relates to negotiating, but it seems to be escaping me. So I've hit 5 and a couple more. I'm going to leave them there for now. I hope you've got a ton of value out of some of my negotiating tips that have really, really driven me towards and guided me towards successful understanding and partnership and negotiation with a number of parties. Really hope this is working for you. If you're interested in one-on-ones with me, touch base, email, or social media. If I have the time, permitting, of course, I will take a closer look at getting deeper into your stuff on a one-on-one private basis. But otherwise, look forward to more insights, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.